What's up, everybody? It's your boy Showtimedr. So this is going to be your Ledin class build guide. He's got a couple really interesting kit. I can actually see him being really good at endgame, and before that he'll be pretty good, but I've had a couple people tell me this is the best character in the game, so we shall see, but it's looking fairly promising, so let's get into it. Now this is your tree right here. You also see it in the upper right of the video. There's two builds I'm seeing. General is cool too, but General is kind of a... it can buff both builds depending on which one you want to go. But so, we'll start with Fighter, Paladin, Templar, because I think that's the way most people will go. And then we'll look at this, and then I'll show you what General can do afterwards. So let's get to it here. So Fighter, this is your base class. Oh, actually before that, let me get to the passive here. So, I gotta actually switch gears. When you first get them, the Will of the King reduces all types of damage by 5%. When HP is 100%, that's for Ledin, not anyone who's attacking him. And attacked by a melee unit, able to attack twice. So as you start that up, you're going to start to see 90% and 8% reduction in damage until eventually you're going to get the 15% reduction of all damage types, as well as whenever his HP is 50% or above, and he himself is attacked by a melee unit, he has to be attacked. Not sure, that might be just worded differently, maybe it's when he attacks as well, won't know till I see it. He's able to attack twice though, so either way, melee attacks, very strong against melee attacks. And let's get into the skills here. So, when you start out, he's going to get your garbage infantry trooper, you know, that's just the way it goes. But these are his skills he gets from his first class fighter. Attacks a single enemy, dealing 1.5 damage. After battle, 1.5 times damage, rather. After battle, restores HP 30%. They seem to give this skill to a lot of the melee tanking units early, especially the SSR units. And then his passive here. Attacked by melee, there's a 30% chance to decrease troop physical damage taken by 30%. Note that is troops, not Ledin himself, but that's actually really nice. You'll see why in a little bit here. So now we're going to go down the Paladin and the Templar route. I got to scroll a bit. So the Paladin, kind of an interesting choice here. I'll show you guys and let you think about it here. So the troops he gets are the Monk and the Merman, out of all things. So the Monk's going to help you be really strong against demon types. When battling demons, attacks increase by 30%. The Merman, they are going to actually, during water battles, increase the attack type. So you got some options here versus... you know, undead, and also being in the water, because there's plenty of water maps later on. So, and then the skill he gets, the passive here, suffers all attacks instead of nearby allies, so you have to be aware of that. Anyone that's within 1 square of him, he's going to take their damage. Guard range, if he activates this, is increased to 2 blocks. Crits decreased by 20%. And then it grants Divine Guard, which is replaces attack with magic defense and plus defense 1 time last 2 turns. This is kind of interesting. This would actually go really well with something later. I'll show you guys in a bit. But if you're going down this route though, try to have him with a buffer that can at least buff one of these, whether it's defense or magic defense. Props if you can get both. Running him with, I forget her name, but the base healer. One of the early R healers you get that does random buffs. She'll probably buff defense and M defense. Now we're going to skip Gladiator here, we'll come back to it. We'll go to Templar. This is the end of the tree for the Paladin build. His troopers here, they're just the upgraded versions of the Merman and the Exorcist, or the Paladin as it was. When in water, for the Merman, attack and defense increased by 30%. Same thing these guys, except it's attack 30% when battling demons. And then, but the caveat is, when you're attacking troops other than demons, they get a defensive increase of 30%, so... that'll be good for a base trooper, because you're not always going to be fighting demons or in water, so if you can increase their defense by 30%. His troops actually get really tanky, which is pretty good. Now, as far as the skills go for the final tree here, attacks a single enemy 1.2 times damage. Before entering battle, defense and magic defense of this troop are increased by 30%. So, like we saw earlier there with, where is it here? On his guard, if you activate his guard, replaces attack with magic defense and defense. So it actually starts playing towards the, well, maybe I should get my magic defense and defense up. Because once you get the Templar, it just flat out increases it for the troops, which is pretty nice. So this lasts 2 turns. Now, after battle, on the passive here, Consecrate, 40% chance to restore HP of all other allies. I've tried looking at the skill 2 times. Someone who actually has them this far needs to tell me. Is the range of this, is this just the whole map? Or is it within, say, 2 squares, is what I'm guessing? I'm not sure, though. Because it is a final class, so it could be the whole map. But I've only seen whole map buffs for faction buffs right now. So that's kind of an interesting tree, though. You got some undead, some water stuff going on. And then, so now we are going to look at the Gladiator King build. So you already know what Fighter does. Right there, a little scroll for you guys, in case you missed it. So Gladiator, check this out. You got your elite infantry and your elite lancers, your more traditional troops here. So y'all should basically know what they do by now. Initiating combat with the infantry, damage taken decreased by 20. When attack, damage dealt increased by 10% for the lancer. Now his passive that he's going to get in this tree, received heal effects plus 15% before battle. So, right before battle, he's going to heal, I assume, 15% of this troops' health and his health as well. Depending on who's more damaged, if his troops are completely dead, you know. Before being attacked with a melee attack. It's always melee attack, it's most of the buffs that this guy gets, by the way. So ranged attacks is his weakness if you're battling against him. Troop attack and defense increases by 10% as well. So like I said, tanky troops. Now we go all the way down to King. You get the heavy infantry and the heavy lancers. It's just upgraded versions. Won't take so much time with the troop skills at this point. So right here, the skills, Rule of Justice. This is where the faction buff's going to come in for the Legion. I forgot to show you guys the faction. Let me go real quick. Show you the faction buffs that he actually gets. He is part of the Legion of Glory, which is what his faction is, and also the protagonists, which most people don't use them as much. Or we use them, we just don't use them as a faction per se. But so, Legion of Glory, that's what his buff is based around. Some pretty good troopers in there. Now, the faction buff is attack and defense increase significantly. Pretty standard for most faction buffs right there. Damage is increased by 20% when being attacked. He himself is going to get attacked a lot. But damage being increased by 20%, if you're playing your rock, paper, scissors right, that can actually be super, super sexy. 4 turns, you know, most faction cooldowns are 3 turns, which I'm assuming this one is as well. And then he also gets this physical damage here skill. Attacks a single enemy dealing 1.3 times damage. Grants Divine Guard, which is, replaces attack with M defense plus defense of 1 turn. Or 1 times, rather. 1 times magic defense plus defense. Lasts 2 turns, and after battle restores 50% of HP damage dealt. So what I'm seeing with this guy is, especially towards the endgame, once you get the percentages going on all crazy, magic defense plus defense, and you have unlocked skills. So let's say, where's that one where... Yeah, right here, active, if you activate his Divine Guard, replaces attack with magic defense times 1 lasts 2 turns. For any time that he is guarding somebody, that could be really strong. And then also... Oh, I haven't shown you guys yet. Okay, I'll have to show you guys that. But that'll be really strong, though. Magic defense plus defense once we're rolling the percentages. And if you can get him to, which I will show you now, buff his own M defense and defense, which is the general class. General class, you get these Amazon troopers. They're pikemen, technically, spearmen, but they get more damage when they initiate combat. Kind of a rare trooper here. The elite cavalry, you guys should be familiar with them by now. Decreased damage 10%. But check this out, though. Lance Phylax takes physical damage instead of a nearby ally. Wait, did I get this one right? I might be looking at the wrong one. No, that's it, okay. Let's see here. Guard range increases to 2 blocks. And then he gets barbed on top of that, which barbed with his magic defense plus defense could be pretty crazy. I think what I was thinking of earlier, let me find it. It's the one where he can buff his own magic defense and defense. Yeah, this is one where he gets it as magic damage, by the way, which is interesting. Defense and magic defense of the troop. But there is actually one where he buffs his own magic damage. Let me find it here. Damn it, I know it's here. Well, maybe that was just what I was thinking of, because I thought he buffed himself. Maybe I'm wrong about that. It was just the troops. Alright, well, my bad. So then, what you should probably look to do is run him with people that can buff his defense and his magic defense. That Phylax skill, I believe it's going to increase his defense anyways. But if you're running him with somebody like the new Sophia, that never hurts as well whenever those cooldowns are down. I have that going on. And yeah, and then that way he's going to do more damage, he's going to have even more damage reduction, and he's going to restore even more health, which will be pretty sexy on all of the end-game protection gain, all that going on. Now, I'm going to go to... Let me start it here. I'm going to go in the game, show you guys some enchants and stuff that I recommend. Let me turn the music up just a bit, because one guy complained that it wasn't high enough. And then the video before that, I had someone complain it was too high, so you can never win. Now, as far as enchants, there's two schools of thought, and I will give them both to you. So number one, you can go Meteor, which is this one, if you want to be more of an offensive build. Now, it's going to give you crit times 5%, or plus 5%. But the 4-piece, when attacking with troops HP above 80%, all damage dealt after entering battle is 20%. Well, if you remember, once you get him high enough to, say, the 4th star or the 5th star, he is going to, at 75%, the hero health, not the troop health, he's going to attack twice. So if you can attack twice, and you can also increase all damage dealt by 20%, having your troops up, because you have to get attacked for them to take your troops down. So if it's a melee attack, you're going to be dealing that much more damage, and this will be pretty gnarly for an offensive build. Now, if you're going to go defensive build, you're probably going to go Rock, which is over here. Defense and M defense plus 5%, which that stacks with the skills like we were just talking about when he switches his attack to defense plus M defense. When HP is lower than 50%, 50% chance to restore 15% of HP after battle. Well, if you remember, once you get him to 6 star, anytime he's 50% or above, he is going to attack twice, and you want that. So with all the damage reduction, all the craziness he gets, you want to have as many heals as possible going off on him, and this will be one of them. So he survives, stays at 49%. He survives with, say, 20-some% health. Well, he's going to restore himself back up to 39%, then he's one good heal away, assuming whatever effects or whatever teammates that you're running them with, to get back up to double attack status. Now, real quickly, I'm going to finish the video off with gear. Came up with some good ones. I actually found a use for a certain set I've been looking to use here, so we'll get into it. So as far as weapon goes, all types of good stuff, but I think the Spirit Griever actually fits him the best, because when attacking, crits increased by 3%, but damage taken is just decreased by 10%. So, decreasing damage, and then hopefully you'll stick above whatever 75%, 85%, 50%, whichever star level you have them at, so that you can constantly get those double attacks, especially on the defenses. But keep in mind, this is attack and crit that it's buffing right here. So we'll get over to armor here, and this is a whole armor set I actually think is pretty cool. The Gaia armor. When attacked, defense increases by 3%. When troop HP is above 80%, magic damage taken decreases by 2%. And as you keep stacking and upgrading this, guys, the percentages for these are only going to go up. So it's going to be pretty awesome. Now, also with that, to stack with that, the Gaia Helm, which is right here. It's basically the same thing, except it starts with magic defense. Increased by 3%. When troop HP is above 80%, physical damage taken is decreased by 2%. So kind of covers the base of the other effect, physical defense and magic defense. But you also get them stacked, so that's helping you with your damage when you're casting those skills that we've already gone over. And as far as accessories, I mean, you know, everyone's going to say, you know, Divine Boots, and if you can get that, great. That's not bad, of course. But I'm trying to look for some other stuff, because you're probably going to have Divine Boots on some other things. So Giant Belt is one I would recommend. When attacked with a melee attack, defense and magic defense increases by 2% in battle, which... Oh, I'm sorry, I'm totally in the way of those. Hold on. You know, if we've gone over magic defense and defense by now, you guys should know why that's good. And then also, let me find it here, 6-2, Goddess Tier. So this is an interesting one. So healing effects plus 5%. So that enchant that I showed you earlier, that heal effect will go up 5%. I'm not sure if it'll be 5%. I'm thinking it's 5% of 15%, not 20%. But you never know in games like these. We'd have to get that tested. After taking action, dispels 1 debuff for 1 nearby ally, and healing effects of 2 blocks. Or within 2 blocks, rather. So, the dispel is obvious, the debuff. I'm not sure, the healing effect thing is kind of convoluted. If someone that has this could let me know. But it seems like it gives them either extra healing, or it stacks the healing received. Not sure exactly on which one. But either way, you get some free magic defense, you get some free int. If you're doing certain builds, he does have a magic attack, so having some int's not a terrible thing. And that's pretty much it, guys. So this character, I'm thinking super late game he'd be really good, but if you can manage to get him to, say, 5-star right now, he would be a pretty badass monster, especially if you don't have someone like Vargas or Bernhardt, etc. This guy for physical damage is actually going to rock pretty good. So that's my 2 cents on that, guys. And I'll be looking for... I'm debating. We'll see which guide I choose. I'm debating whether to do a Liana guide. A lot of you have been hammering on me because you want me to do more SR guides. So I'm thinking I might do Sophia. Because I have Sophia and I could get that one out fairly quick. And I need to actually play. So I could catch up to you guys. So anyways, this has been your Ledin guys. Ledin guide, guys. And if you don't know me, yo, I'm Showtime Doctor, Showtimedr. You found my YouTube. Hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Also, check the title info. There's a link to my Twitch and my Discord. Twitch, streaming this game a lot. Discord, got a tab for the game. Ask your questions. We got a good community in there. Everyone's been super awesome so far. And that's it, guys. So, see you later. Good luck on your pulls. Good luck on everything. Peace.